In the past, we've had all sorts of adventures. We've jumped raptors, we've learned how to race cars, we've gone to stunt driving school. This time we're going to push the boundaries a little bit. We're in Santa Barbara, and I'm going to learn how to paraglide. Yeah, I know paragliding is a little bit outside of Kelley normal sphere, but it's something I've always wanted to do, and it seemed like it'd be pretty good, interesting video fodder. So to help keep things grounded in the world of cars, we decided to bring a Range Rover Evoque. It's that sexy thing over there. So what do you say? Want to spend a couple days learning how to fly?
Let's freeze for a moment. I don't know it, but things are not going to go as planned. The next 2 days are going to be a series of disappointments. But hey, trouble makes these kinds of videos more interesting, right? Before we get to any of that, let's chat about the Range Rover Evoque. It's the smallest entry in Land Rover's premium Range Rover lineup. Offered in 2- and 4-door variants, the Evoque simultaneously embraces and defies Range Rover's image. Sleek and compact, the Evoque is brawny yet stylish, with a luxurious interior and a powertrain consisting of a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, a fine 9-speed automatic, and standard all-wheel drive. Granted, the all-wheel drive system lacks the locking differentials and low-range gearbox that let full-size Range Rovers scramble across the globe's less hospitable bits, but the Evoque is certainly rugged enough for most people's real-world off-roading needs. Overall, the Evoque is a tidy, adaptable little package that's well suited for seizing the day, which leads us conveniently back to paragliding.
And now Mother Nature has decided that you're not going to fly. If you look at the windsock, that's kind of pointed 90 degrees to the direction of flight, and that's a no-go for what we've got going today. A couple of quick observations. I'm surprised at how quickly everything started moving. It felt like we had just arrived and they're like, all right, well, you're about ready to fly. Let's get you to the edge of that hill. So basically, everything I've done so far is hard running. You don't think about the fact that there's a huge kite. All you feel is like a bunch of pressure behind you.
Yeah, I know all about that parachute. Landed right on me. So
Really, you could probably do this in something less capable than a Range Rover, but you probably wouldn't look as good doing it. Do I look okay? How do I look? Mike, get out of the car. I want you to tell me how I look in this thing. Oh, hey there, just having a fun paragliding adventure in my Range Rover. You know, it's just a no bigs, just chilling out. Now back up. Does this thing, do I wear it well? Do I look good in this thing? Thank you. Now you can come back in. What's gonna be fun is when you edit this so that it looks like I'm serious with that whole thing. People are like, that guy is a jerk. Unlike when I went to the Bobby Orr school, the stunt driving school, where I felt like I didn't know anything that helped me, I feel like my background with flying helicopters with very delicate movements, this is me flying the helicopter. Stop, come on. Let's be adults here. Anyways, my experience flying the helicopter, which requires very gentle movements, and driving, which requires smoothness, I think that might really come into play. Of course, all that assumes that we're actually going to go flying tomorrow, and who knows, maybe we won't. While we didn't get to fly, we did get to see some very cool flying from Dave, the instructor. That guy's awesome. We also got a chance to go do some car-to-car driving up in the mountains. I will say that it handles really well for an SUV, and very flat in its demeanor in the corners. It feels pretty good. I mean, the steering's a little bit numb, but we say that about everything these days. The 240 horsepower turbocharged 4-cylinder could be a little less gutless at points. I mean, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. But sometimes when you see a car that looks as cool as the Evoque, you think cool looks equal fast, and that's not really the case. It's quick enough, but it's not quick. And I will say that in terms of just driving around, same thing. With a car that's really interesting looking, you kind of expect it to be I don't know, difficult to live with, like a supermodel. And I don't know, I've never dated a supermodel. I don't know what they're like, but I'm assuming they're really difficult. This is not like that. The Evoque has been easy to live with. Big enough cup holders for our oversized novelty beverages. There's been enough cargo space for all of our gear. And it's been just generally pleasant to drive around in. And the super narrow greenhouse that looks really, really cool from the outside, you'd think that would make it hard to see out and maneuver, but not at all. As we were following our instructors over to the cliffs, it's like you can easily see around as you're kind of maneuvering through streets and stuff. So yeah, it's really been a livable drive experience. And look, we've merged the worlds of paragliding and cars. You didn't think we could do it. Ha! Day 2. So it's a bright early morning. It is 7:51, and I just got a call from Marge, our Pleasant flight instructor, that the winds are not going to be great. There's going to be a wind event, whatever that is, but apparently that means we can't go fly today. So at this moment, this feels like the most anticlimactic, we're going to fly for 2 days kind of video we could have possibly made. I do feel like if you're making a video about paragliding and there is essentially zero paragliding, it's kind of a bummer of a video. Okay, we're gonna have to put our heads together and figure out some sort of option to recover this video. This happens all the time though. We always do like a video and it's like, oh no, we've backed ourselves into a wall and there's no way we can possibly complete our job. Guess we'll see what happens. Maybe we should just spend more time with this Range Rover. Okay, I think we have a backup plan, which is a place where we can go fly in an ultralight, which is kind of an elemental version of flying. Not as elemental as paragliding, certainly, but at this point, we'll take what we can get. So we just got a call from the ultralight pilot, and apparently it's too windy to go flying today. Maybe I should have expected that. So, how are we gonna pull some adventure out of the day? What do you think? Okay, we have a backup. My boss actually owns a sailboat, and so we're heading back through Camarillo right now, and we can go straight to where he has a sailboat, go out, do some sailing, check the adventure box, and hopefully have a semi-adventurous Range Rover Evoque video. Yeah. As long as we're driving from one point to another, we should probably talk about what it's like to drive the Evoque over long distances. It's actually pretty nice. The suspension's not excessively hard. It's got those big wheels, and so you can feel some jitteriness over broken pavement. But in terms of ride comfort, it's good. Also, not too much noise inside. It's a really livable, just commuter car. The kind of thing that people will actually wind up using the Evoque for. It does a pretty good job at. Okay. All right, so after 2 days of utter failure, I think the only option we had was to embrace the reality of owning a luxury sport utility vehicle, which is using it for purely domestic purposes. So I've come to pick up a coffee table. You ever get the impression that the automotive gods are conspiring against you? Like we angered Poseidon, or at least the Poseidon that's in charge of SUVs. So we weren't able to go paragliding, couldn't fly an ultralight, and we didn't get to go sailing. So no adventures for us. On the other hand, all those things that sound super cool that you might see in car commercials, I guess it makes sense that we didn't get to do any of them, because realistically, who spends their time doing that? Range Rovers are meant to be driven around cities by affluent people who look cool. We got to do some of that, and we got to pick up some gear. It was a positively domestic, really unadventurous couple of days with the Range Rover Evoque. I think it went well. Should probably empty this gear, huh? I don't think we could have had a bigger contrast between beginnings and ends than starting with who wants to go for 2 days of paragliding to. We're literally ending on a box.
As an uber stylish object of desire, you might think the Evoque lacks substance or is hard to live with. It doesn't, and it isn't. The Evoque is actually quite pleasant. Of course, it's not all crumpets and tea cakes. Long-term resale values are better than the BMW X3, but somewhat worse than the Acura RDX and Audi Q5, while, from a price perspective, the Evoque's $42,000 base price is higher than its competitors. Reliability concerns have also popped up among the consumer reviews on KBB.com. That said, during our little adventure, the Range Rover Evoque was the only thing that really worked, helping make our many failures a bit more bearable. And maybe that's the big lesson from all of this. When it comes to cars, or life in general, you can buy the fantasy, but you'll have to live the reality. In our experience, the Range Rover Evoque handles each just fine.